Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
So we want to welcome all of you to this third meeting of a discussion that is taking place between the National Council of South Africa and WuSA, which is an effort of a group of devotees from the African community to express their concerns, to express how to go forward with the preaching in Africa. The WuSA has written an open letter to the South African National Council, which has been discussed on in two meetings, and the South African leaders have responded to that open letter first in these meetings, and it was a very open-minded, favorable response, and they have now given a response in writing. So that is something we would be discussing in a moment. I'm seeing an agenda item before that. That agenda item is an update on developments following the initial meeting that was held last week. Would anyone like to address that first point? Savisachi, or could you say a few things about that? I mean, I lost track of Savisachi has turned off his camera. Savisachi, some update on the
just to get situated. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. Did you hear what I say, or should I repeat it?
No, please repeat.
Okay, so I received a proposed agenda from WuSA side, right? And there it says the update. First point on that agenda is an update on developments following the initial meeting last week. From last week.
Yes.
So if you could comment on that.
I'm a bit disoriented right now.
All right.
I'm in some situation which I need to sort out how to be properly situated. Maybe someone else can.
Yeah, let Radhika say something.
Hare Krishna, this is humble obeisances. We placed that item on the agenda just as a starting point. From WuSA's side, we spent the week in debriefs and quite robust conversations about the developments that took place on the weekend. There was a lot of gratitude and happiness expressed about the openness of the National Council to putting African preaching, quite high on the agenda. We then tried to put together a set of minutes that we managed to provide to you, Maharaj, very early this morning. And in there are what we saw to be the decisions taken on each point in the letter, and also some outstanding matters which could potentially be discussed and closed off today.
Okay, all right, thank you. So, I think that the most important thing is that there is a written reply from the National Council, and I thought if we read through that to begin with, then we get a good idea of where things stand. So, whereas WuSA has raised 6 requests, 5 of which have been resolved as per minutes below, with the remaining issue being within the jurisdiction of ISKCON resolve. Extract of SANC meeting uh, dated 22nd, 23rd July 2020 via Zoom. Minutes. 1. Use of ISKCON temple facilities. Whereas all ISKCON temple projects and facilities are intended to be used by all devotees for advancing the Sankirtan mission of Lord Chaitanya. 2. Whereas the temple president or project leader should be consulted on details of logistics, coordination, and timing. And 3. Whereas there is much scope for dynamic, tailored programs which maintain the sanctity and standards of Krishna consciousness as taught by Srila Prabhupada, and which will be attractive to newcomers and spiritually nourishing to all devotees, it is resolved that WuSA has access to and use of all ISKCON facilities in South Africa. That is the first point. Then in regards to the second point, legal entity registration and fundraising. 1. Whereas WuSA has expressed an interest to be considered as an independent legal entity within or an affiliate connected to ISKCON. 2. Whereas legal registration and fundraising are germane to such an autonomous structure. 3. Whereas all such affiliate structures must comply with the relevant ISKCON law and be under the authority of the governing body commission. It is resolved that the director, compliance and governance with the support of the co-national secretary, will do all things necessary or as required to support the registration and establishment of WuSA as either an independent legal entity of or an affiliate of the ISKCON South African National Council. It has also been resolved that all ISKCON South African temples will make a proportionate contribution to match the rent 10,000 raised by WuSA. Furthermore, WuSA is approved to fundraise on a national basis as an independent entity. 3. Leadership change management. 1. Whereas education and training in the areas of diversity, inclusion, consciousness and unconscious bias, and other associated subjects is vital, it has been resolved that the SANC will secure the services of experienced professionals to assist in this regard and will actively seek the participation inputs from various senior devotees and sannyasis to co-create the desired program and ensure the efficacy of this intervention. 2. Whereas the breakdown of trust and relationships in the ISKCON South Africa GBC management has been suggested as a core reason for the stagnation of African preaching. 3. And noting with gratitude, respect and appreciation for the services of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swamini, His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Swami, His Holiness Devamrita Swami, and His Holiness Giriraj Swami, who all served as co-GBCs over the last 3 decades alongside His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami. 4. Further noting that the co-GBCs have all made incremental contributions to the best of their ability for the development of the South African Yatra. 5. And that the current GBCs have the full confidence of the SANC. It is resolved that WuSA's request for greater involvement by devotees with better context of the African preaching climate is welcomed and encouraged. The national secretaries are mandated to engage WuSA on such an intervention with the proviso that Srila Prabhupada's system of management as set out in the Ultimate Managerial Authority paper of the GBC is fully complied with. 4. Transformation of the membership of the South African National Council. 1. Whereas there's a definite need for greater representation of African devotees in the leadership of ISKCON South Africa, it has been resolved that the co-national secretaries engaged with WuSA, senior devotees not involved in management in ISKCON South Africa, and other stakeholders to propose the necessary adjustments within 3 months of this resolution. 5. Vaishnava dealings and decorum. 1. Whereas the SANC has noted the progressive dialogue and welcomes the frank exchanges for the strengthening of ISKCON in South Africa. In particular, WuSA brings the hope that Srila Prabhupada's stated desire to preach to and cultivate the Black African community becomes a reality. It is resolved that the SANC is committed as a shared objective together with WuSA to maintain a platform for dialogue that is transparent and free from victimization and condescension and silencing, as well as any form of discrediting. It is also resolved that the SANC recommends that a smaller working group with WuSA representative be formed to advance the dialogue while wishing to remain a servant in any endeavor that seeks the harmonization of loving devotee relationship. The SANC notes that it has no jurisdiction in East or West African countries. End of extract. Okay, I'm an overall favorable reply that is quite clear to all the points that have been raised in the open letter. It has been noted that the matter of an an independent complaints office is under the jurisdiction of the ISKCON Resolve South Africa, and they wrote a letter also, which is as follows. 23rd July 2020, further consultations on independent complaints office. Through ongoing dialogue, the crucial need for the Independent Complaints Office, ICO, as an independent body to deal with any matters pertaining to racial bias and discrimination has been strongly reaffirmed. There have been requests for a more extensive consultative process to further strengthen the Independent Complaints Office as mandated by its terms and reference. To this end, the ICO will be temporarily suspended till the above has been concluded satisfactorily, and any considerations and inputs on the above are welcomed and can be directed to the Director of ISKCON Resolve at sribangasundar@gmail.com. Hare Krishna. And issued by ISKCON South Africa Communications at the request of ISKCON Resolve. So, okay, they have agreed to suspend whatever arrangements were made for the previous ICO and leave the matter open for further discussion and follow-up with the WuSA. The same thing from the SANC is also there, where it is stated after their reply, it has been said it's also resolved that the SANC recommends that a smaller working group with WuSA representatives be formed to advance the dialogue. So yes, it's obviously very difficult to, in a large group, discuss all finer details of such documents, and at the same time, the WuSA has also sent a document. Documents have been going up and down extensively this week, and that is a document on the minutes of the previous meeting. And if you like, I will also read that out. And of course, these minutes, they were only finished. There's a lot of work, and they were only finished late last night, and I only got them this morning because I didn't stay up that late. And 1 second, now I have to open that one up. Where were these WuSA minutes? Here, WuSA. That's WuSA minutes. We're here.
It may be too long to read.
Yeah,
They
it's
may
very
be too long.
hard to read them all, huh? So I think the WuSA minutes follow the how you say the points that the SANC has reiterated in the open in their response to the open letter, and there may be some details here and there. So I think what I would suggest is let these WuSA minutes or the minutes prepared by WuSA be read by the SANC, and then that can be further discussed in ongoing dialogue. Okay, so where do we want to take this discussion from here? That is my question to you now. Sorry, I have to just open all the documents. So is there just a first response from the side of WuSA on the resolutions of the SANC? Maybe Savisachi can come back and say a few words.
Hare Krishna. We would like to thank the devotees of the National Council and the GBCs for responding in such a favorable, positive way. I feel very encouraged, and I'm sure the devotees will be very encouraged to hear this response, because it is our aim to try and serve within the structures, just with a slight adjustment to inspire different devotees. So I'm very happy, and I'm sure other devotees may have their responses, but so far what I've heard is quite inspiring. And I'd like to thank them. Hare Krishna.
That's very nice. I hear a lot of rumble in the background. It means that some people haven't muted their microphones. And if you just could have a look, if you haven't muted, then please mute. And then when you speak, then you can unmute it. Otherwise, we hear everyone's kitchen noises and whatever else. Okay. Yeah, I also don't know how to open up a lot more discussion on this topic. Of course, I welcome anyone who wishes to further comment on this. Some of the senior devotees, I'm seeing Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu, how do you feel about the WuSA or the SANC resolutions?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah.
I welcome this, what you call the decisions that have been made so far, and it's encouraging that, at least this is a beginning. We want to see the way forward, and then all the devotees becoming satisfied in their respective services. Yeah, if devotees, if at the end it can be a win-win situation for everybody becoming satisfied, then I think it will be the beginning of our success in a sense, So yes, all glories to all the devotees who have made this possible, and then let's see the way forward from here. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. Is there anyone who would like to speak from the side of the National Council and say a few words about the spirit of the behind the resolutions? Okay. Yeah, maybe Swarup Damodar.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Hare Krishna to the devotees. Yeah, this discussion on the resolutions to the 5 of the 6 points or the request raised by WuSA. As I mentioned in my letter to you, Marge, it received a unanimous support from all the voting members of the National Council. And that was encouraging to me, that was encouraging to each other, I guess, to show that everybody was actually on the same page of this progressive discussion. So yeah, that was basically in a very positive, encouraging spirit in which it was done. And yeah, we look forward to protecting that positivity together with all the devotees' inputs and participation. Thank you.
Thank you. Madhavi Prabhu, would you like to say a few words?
I can just add, along with what Swarup Prabhu said, that it was unanimous support. Everyone appreciates that this is Prabhupada's desire that the African preaching expand and increase. So we're all encouraged that there's such young and enthusiastic devotees that want to push forward the African preaching. So it's, as Mahaprabhu said, it's encouraging, but it's just the beginning. So we're open to see wonderful things develop.
Mm-hmm.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, well, as you all say, it is the beginning. In the sense that now basically there's an agreement to create the proper structure to start working, and of course, in the end, it is about developing the preaching, developing a structure which supports the African preaching, so that the devotees can feel welcome and enlivened in ISKCON South Africa. Okay, now let me just quickly. Sorry, I have to jump from one doc to the other. Close this and go to the agenda. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we've had some senior devotees present here throughout our discussions who are well-wishers and preachers in South Africa, and I'm not sure if today I see Bhakti Dear Damodar Maharaj. I don't see him, but I did see Mahavishnu Swami. So Mahavishnu Maharaj, are you there? Okay, I think he's just, yes, Maharaj. So you're on mute. You're on mute. You have to unmute, Maharaj. So Maharaj, please, how do you think the developments are? Are you feeling that things are moving in a satisfactory direction?
Yeah, I think they are. It's for me, because I've been preaching in East Africa, South Africa, and West Africa for almost 20 years. And I'm very happy to see this development. And I'm a bit apprehensive how the next stage is going to go, especially in this Zoom, in this COVID virus situation. I guess the Zoom is giving us opportunity to come together in different committees, but it'll be difficult for us to see how we're going to participate in actuality in the temples when we start, if we ever come back to the temples and start living there amongst each other and start the programs that we're hoping for. So I think we have to monitor very carefully and make sure that our ambitions are fulfilled. So this will require a lot of cooperation, a lot of chanting Hare Krishna, purifying ourselves from our anatas, whatever mistakes we made before, or our prejudices and so on. We've got a lot of work to do. And because, you know, South Africa is 80% African-bodied people, it's a big challenge for ISKCON. It's a huge challenge, you know. It's like we're opening up like a whole new field of discovery and cultural cultural realizations. There's so many tribes of people with different languages in South Africa, so many fields to conquer with the Sankirtan movement. So this is just, like I said, like you all said, it's the beginning. So let's pray to Lord Chaitanya sincerely that we can rise to the occasion to take up this challenge, to make these resolutions work in concrete reality, not Zoom reality. That's my apprehension. So I hope we should have these meetings regularly, even though we're non-COVID virus. We can use this Zoom to have regular meetings with the different committees, and we've learned actually a lot from this COVID virus, how to cooperate, communicate, and be gentlemanly amongst ourselves. And so it's actually exciting for me, and I hope that what I see here is happening will spread to East Africa and also West Africa. We can take advantage of this technology. But most of all, we have to surrender to Srila Prabhupada's instructions, which are for all of us, to spread the Sankirtan movement. Jali Deki Tai Kaha, Krishna Upadesh, Amara Agya Guru Hanatayedes. Wherever we are, whoever we meet, we have to give them Krishna consciousness. And this way, we have to become gurus, regardless of our caste or creed, color, etc. This is the mandate of Lord Chaitanya. So thank you very much. It's been a great honor for me to be here. And I'm very happy to see all of you in this cooperative mood. So I'm happy to serve also any way I can. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you very much for your wisdom and raising some points, you know, like about cooperation and about, but also about the conditions of the time that are going to affect immediate action. Anyhow, they'll have to figure it out. We can see that Savisachi is not far from you because there is the same backdrop. In now you're both in Bali, which is far away from South Africa. Anyhow, we hope that Savisachi.
We don't know each other.
Right.
We never talk to one another.
I understand that.
That's
Anyway,
just an illusion.
Yeah.
Fake news. Fake news.
Right. Anyhow, I hope that Savia can soon come back to South Africa. That would be very good. Meanwhile, yeah, that things are going on. Is there anyone else who would like to make some comments on this on the response from the SANC now and how things have evolved? Is there anyone from all the devotees who would like to make a comment? You're all most welcome to say something.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Haribol. I'm South African and I'm living in Mexico.
Oh.
And I congratulate Sabyasachi and Mataji Navina for this intervention and trying to get things sorted out in South Africa. I just wanted to say that we must be careful about how we refer to each other as devotees. And I know in South Africa, it's not just devotees, but everybody refers to Africans as the blacks. I think we must really mind our language. It helps. It doesn't help any of us if we keep saying the blacks, the blacks. We are not this body. I think we all understand that. And we have, international people looking at us at ISKCON South Africa. And if we are referring to each other as the blacks, this is so demotivating. In the last meeting, I heard one senior Prabhu, use this and say, oh, the blacks, the blacks. Mm-hmm. And it has disturbed me the whole week. Mm-hmm. Because, it's been a long time since I've heard it. In South Africa, we hear it all the time with devotees and non-devotees. But it's been a while. Maybe I haven't heard this language in 5 years. Someone calling another person the blacks. So we are advanced, and we shouldn't use this, the blacks, the blacks, the blacks. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Yeah, well, I think your point is taken, and I think that the National Council, they also feel that things should be said in a way sensitive to others, I mean, because it's true, not only people from an African origin are sensitive, all people are sensitive. And we all also like to be addressed with some respect and in a Vaishnava community that is expected. So they wrote that in their response. Again, this thing goes to sleep, sorry. Yeah, in the end, because where was that now? Okay. Yeah, they also speak about, in their 5th point of response, about Vaishnava dealings and decorum. Yeah? So Vaishnava and Mahavishnu Maharaj also spoke about that. So Vaishnava dealings we want, and from all sides, that ultimately going. On the other side, it is also necessary that the devotees can speak freely and open their heart. Not that. So sometimes when such things are said, we have to let something go and say, well, it may be out of habit, not with bad intention. They can register it, but old habits die hard. Sometimes people say things, it just comes out of the mouth. But your point is noted. Okay, so Bhakti Nrsimha Maharaj has joined us. And Maharaj, have you also seen the response from the SANC? And basically, did you receive that, Maharaj?
No.
Okay, well, we just read it out before you joined, and basically the SANC is in agreement with the with providing what WuSA asked for, providing the facility to preach in the temples, to support the registration of a separate legal entity, to support fundraising, to work on leadership change in the management, to transformation of membership of the South African National Council. And as far as the Independent Complaints Office, that is under the authority of ISCON Resolve, right? That is with Tribanga Sundar. And is he here today? Tribanga, are you here? I don't see Tribanga.
I spoke to him yesterday. He said he won't be available.
Okay, so then he's indeed not here. But Tribanga sent us a letter, and in the letter he made it very clear that the previous arrangements for an ICO have been suspended, and everything is open now for further dialogue and consultation to come to a new arrangement. So, in general, I think the requests of WuSA have been accepted, and then I guess on details and how to affect it all and how to make it work, that is the next step, and that would happen in smaller meetings. So then, for now, this would be the last meeting of this kind, right? You know, and at least for the time being, and then it starts to go on with more meetings. At the end of last week's meeting, Mahavishnu Maharaj raised the point that some matters were outstanding, but as we see, these matters have been also addressed in the SANC response, such as ICO structure, involvement of African sannyasis, reconstitution of the SANC, victimization of devotees who raise concerns about racism. I think all these things they've addressed, and I think, to be honest, if I give my opinion is you can talk and talk and talk forever, but at the end, you know, it's time for action, and then action speaks louder than words. And once things start functioning, then it becomes clear and more clear how things are evolving and if it's satisfactory or not. And if issues arise, then they will be discussed again. Okay? It's not an effort where you expect, and now in a few meetings everything will be fixed forever. No, it's an ongoing effort to overcome a great cultural divide that exists in South Africa as a country, and and it's a process to rise above this. So the process has been set into motion, and I think it has to go on from here. So and that will take time and actual work on the ground. Therefore, I don't know if there's the outstanding matters, as far as I'm concerned, have been addressed by the SANC. If someone feels that it has to be, if there's more to say on that, of course, then we're welcome to take input from the floor. But I don't know if it's required. Navina Radhika, what would you suggest that I do with this point?
Marge, I agree with you completely. I think that the response from the National Council was so comprehensive that it covered the outstanding matters. You'll see even on the minutes. I'm just reminded that going into, accepting this meeting request in response to the letter from SANC, we asked some of the members of WuSA what would success mean in these engagements? What would they perceive to be a positive outcome? And mostly it was two things. It was that the National Council would acknowledge that there was an issue, that it was important, that African preaching, was really, needed to be addressed and prioritized. And I think that that has been really expressed, explicitly by SANC, and we're very excited that they're so positive about doing something. And the second thing was a willingness to listen and to consider an alternative or different strategy in addressing the problems. And I mean, again, that we appreciate that there is no resistance. There hasn't been any, serious point of contention aside from the extended discussions and trying to understand the issue around the ICO. So this is all very positive. My suggestion in terms of a way forward was just with regards to the groups that now need to be formed to actually take the actionable steps. We spent the week, or the past few weeks actually, engaging or communicating with the National Council through you, primarily. So our mailbox has been waiting for a letter from the National Council that has come through being, you've facilitated a lot of that correspondence. So we had a conversation about it, and we felt perhaps if it's favorable to everybody, we would like to make one more request that Marge, your position becomes formalized as then the medium through which SANC and WuSA then continue to engage. And when we're thinking of what this formalization would look like, I remember you mentioned that you have a similar position in New York at the moment as a special duty officer. And so we just wanted to put that forward to say that it would be really appreciated if Marge could continue to be that person that that both parties could go to, even if it is in the short term, a year or two, but that be an official decision taken from the National Council.
Okay, well, I myself, I have been in South Africa since 1995, quite a bit, right? Maybe 3 months a year. And so I kind of feel very much at home in South Africa. I feel very much connected with everyone in the whole yatra. And so I very much would like to see our preaching expand in South Africa. And I would very much like to see all the devotees very inspired and happy in their services. And I would also like to see that differences between different communities, which are so typical for South Africa, so complex in South Africa, where we're still living in a post-apartheid era where the cultural influence of all that history is having its influence, and so I think it's a wonderful challenge to go forward. I'm willing to offer my services and somehow or other try and bridge the gap. I think we'll talk with everyone concerned. I'll discuss it with the GBC, the SANC, with WuSA, and I guess then we'll come to some sort of idea of how it would look like if I would be the in-between, the go for. I could just have that title, the go for. In good Dutch, they say van kastje naar de muur, that means from the cupboard to the wall, you know. And I feel that's what it feels like when you're in between. You know, you talk with this one, and then you go back to the other side, and you talk with them. So they say this and this and this, and then, well, tell them that we. So this in-between role is not like something I love to do. It's cumbersome. It's tiring. It takes so much effort to go in between people. Not something, but I'm willing to do so for some time, because I see there's a need, and somehow or other seems to be what came on my plate. So I'm willing to do, but with the understanding that after a while, I should be allowed to just go back and be a happy sannyasi, right? Because that's what I'm supposed to be, you know, a happy sannyasi preaching Krishna consciousness. And
could I say something, Maharaj?
Of course, Maharaj.
I hope I didn't cut you off there, but you know, I think you're too intelligent to be just a happy sannyasi. That's the problem. But you know, just in regard to the point about like officializing, you could say, formalizing your role, even if it's just for however long it is. You're already a special duty officer there in New York. Yeah. It's an official GBC role.
Yeah.
And I can, you know, because I'm a member of the executive committee and I'll be the chairman. Anyway, I'm a member of the executive committee. And the executive committee can actually is authorized to appoint people to be special. And that's how you're a special duty officer. Because as far as I remember, because we authorized you.
That's right.
So anyway, you know, speak to whoever in the meantime, but I think it would not be inappropriate. I mean, in the sense of the importance of the service, to make you a special duty officer with, you know, some sort of, I don't know how it would be phrased, a specific focus. Yeah, authorized. Yeah. It's just an idea.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the confidence from you, Maharaj, and because that's very important, and of course from Govardhan Prabhu and from the whole National Council, and also from WuSA and I hope also from all the other devotees who are watching. There's many who are watching. You know, whatever it may be, I'm willing to go forward and do something. I'd like to talk to people about it before we give it a final shape. Okay?
Sure.
And you know, but yeah, something must be done. So okay, let's go forward and let's make it work. You know, that is what our real interest is.
That's the thing.
Let's make it work. I think actually that overall this effort somehow or other that came about circumstantially is favorable. I think that Krishna is behind it. I think that it is necessary for ISKCON South Africa to go forward, and I think that although something like WuSA came, yeah, maybe as a further a further extension of all the problems that started in America with Black Lives Matter, with George Floyd and all, and then it carried on into our internal ISKCON affairs in America and also in South Africa. But I think that the discussions were good, because rather than talking a lot about there is a problem, there is a problem, there is a problem, there was a lot of talk about let's do something constructive to go forward. And I think that is the thing I very much appreciate. And I think that what happened in the last few weeks has taken us forward considerably. And let's continue with that commitment to go forward. And if there are some areas that need that need to be resolved or ironed out or whatever, to make the functioning more smooth, let's do it. Let's do the needful to make it work and to make this yatra very inclusive, very wonderful, and so that we can become very relevant to the South African society at large. So I'm very happy about these first steps of development. Savi Sachi.
I have a connection.
Savi Sachi?
Okay. No, my internet connection is a bit shaky. Thank you, Maharaj. I just also wanted to express that in our discussion, we noted how in the second meeting, His Holiness Bhakti Nishinga Maharaj mentioned that he would like to be involved in some way according to how the devotees want. So our very, very strong feeling, we were hoping to request Maharaj that he, even if it's not anything on paper or official positions, that we need him as our leader and inspiration, and that the body of devotees feel like there's a wealth of knowledge and guidance that we can receive from him with regards to the African field of preaching, and that we hope somehow the other we can be able to have him maybe in some sort of oversight committee where we could actually report to him and a few senior leaders with regards to the preaching work that needs to happen in South Africa. If at some point we're able to actually talk to him and request him properly, because I'm just speaking now in this forum, we could try to have something formal if there's a need that suits him. But the devotees felt very, very strongly that we should request him to kindly be available to give us some wisdom and guidance in this endeavor to try and extend Krishna consciousness into the African communities.
Yeah.
So, sorry to sort of say it before Maharaj, we haven't spoken to him, but since he is here, right, and the assembled devotees are here, I thought to express that.
No, that is very, very, very nice. And Maharaj is after all South African. He's one of the early South African devotees that have joined in South Africa. Maharaj knows ISKCON South Africa better than any of us, and Maharaj is, of course, a sannyasi and an advanced spiritual leader, and as such, all our respects to Bhakti Nishinga Maharaj. And I guess a lot of the details have to come from just one-on-one or smaller group discussions where we actually have a heart-to-heart and hear what really fits, what really everyone wants, and how it's all gonna work in the bigger picture, I guess. But Maharaj, over the years, I have always kept a friendship with Maharaj, and I hope that I see him as my friend. I hope he sees me also like that. Sannyasis, they call each other Vairagi Bhai, brother in renunciation. So he is my Vairagi Bhai. And so in that way, I would be very happy to, for Maharaj to do whatever he wishes to do, whatever others feel is suitable. Maharaj, would you like to speak a few words?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I think from what I've been hearing, there's been progress from both sides. That's very good. Of course, there's nothing that directly has to do with me, but if the devotees feel that I could help to propel this initiative in South Africa, they can kind of like explain to me what they want me to be involved with, and then we can take it from
there. Yeah. Yeah. Where are you now, Maharaj? If I may ask, just out of curiosity.
I'm in Mayapur down.
Oh, in Sida Mayapur. Oh,
yes.
You are fortunate. I wish yes. I was there. I wish I would have been locked down in the Dam. What more could you wish for? But you know, wasn't I was locked down in South Africa and for 3 months, and then I went to Europe because it's summertime now in Europe, and it's I was ready for some summer. I'd already been in the winter in South Africa, in New York. Okay, so I guess, Maharaj, more discussion will follow in smaller groups. We'll talk to everyone, coordinate such discussions, and I think this meeting we've covered more or less the topic. We want to thank everyone who has been part of it, of all the 3 discussions, who has made a contribution. We know that there are many devotees who did not speak, but who actually feel very concerned and who feel very much part of the meeting and of WuSA, of the effort. I think who is WuSA is a question that sometimes has been raised. I think WuSA is an idea. WuSA is a desire to move things forward in South Africa. And I think let us take advantage of that inspiration, of that idea, and develop it and make something really nice. So we can only do that all together with all the devotees from various areas. I'm seeing, of course, I'm seeing our GBCs who are very favorable, the National Council. The peacocks are also favorable. Mahaprabhu is here. I see many other devotees from all over South Africa. I thank you all for your interest and for your ongoing participation and support, because ultimately this can only be done together. It cannot be done by anyone, by a small group of people. If WuSA becomes a small group of people that are isolated and everyone looks at them, well, WuSA, do your dance, right? And it's not that we are waiting now for WuSA, whoever they are, to do a dance on stage and we're all watching, look how WuSA is dancing. What we're looking at is to make all of South Africa dance, everyone, to somehow or other come together and be united, you know, different as we all are, individuals as we all are, but somehow or other to make this movement in South Africa yeah, a wonderful effort. South Africa is a powerhouse in the Hare Krishna movement as a whole. Huh? South Africa is a very big yatra. You know, it does the biggest Ratha Yatra outside of India, right? It, in so many ways, South Africa is a powerhouse. For example, when it came to the TOVP, South Africa is a main contributor to the construction of the TOVP. So South Africa can do something big. So now we have started a humble attempt, a humble foundation, and I hope it will grow into something very wonderful and very, very big, and that yeah, all the devotees in South Africa will be greatly enlivened. Okay, well, those are my closing words. Govardhan Prabhu, would you like to speak a few closing words?
Yes, Maharaj, thank you very much. I think we've started a very important journey. We have a meeting of minds. We want to advance the Sankirtan movement. And I wanted to just, put my head at the feet of all the Vaishnavas, ask for any forgiveness in lapses or inattention, something inadvertently may have been done. We are all Srila Prabhupada's grandchildren, and we want our children to inherit the dream that we all have. So, as brothers and sisters and god brothers and god sisters, let's develop some Vaishnav love, because without Vaishnav love, Krishna is a distant dream. And as a co-GBCA in South Africa, although I'm looking after countries around Zambia, Botswana, Mozambique, Malawi, Zimbabwe, I live here in Johannesburg. And I'm very keen and very interested to also get into the trenches and pick up the spade and do something and make a difference. So please call upon me. We want to have more devotees, happy devotees. And specifically, I want to thank Swarup Damodar Prabhu for his hard work in leading all these initiatives. Savya Sachi Prabhu, Navina Radhika Mataji, Tribhuvanath Prabhu and their team. And March, your exceptional facilitation, your great saintliness that has some of the other managed this very difficult process. And I hope the idea of the duty officer becomes a reality. And again, my obeisances to Mahavishnu Maharaj and all the devotees on this court. Hare Krishna.
Okay, let us then offer our obeisances to all the Vaishnavas.
Haribol, can I say something, Maharaj?
Okay, sorry. Can you say that again, Maharaj?
Can I say something?
Of course you can.
I noticed in one of the items, it said something about what's going on in South Africa was not applicable to East Africa and West Africa. Is that true? There's some mention like that?
Yeah, there was a mention that it's not applicable, but that the SANC notes that it has no jurisdiction in East or West African countries. So
yeah, that's right.
Whatever is so no jurisdiction.
Yeah, no jurisdiction. But I think that what's going on in these meetings, as you said, coming from Black Lives Matter movement, it's going to spread to East Africa and Kenya, Uganda, and other parts of Africa. It's a very important movement. And we can facilitate that. I noticed that Umapati and Govinda Prem from Nairobi were at the meetings the other day. So I think that we're going to be in South Africa the forefront of this African resurgence of preaching.
Yeah.
So we should open our arms to the rest of Africa and encourage them to take this up, because many devotees also have been suffering, so they can learn a lot from this.
Well, Mahavishnu
African preaching king, not just South African preaching.
Mahavishnu Maharaj, whenever all of you, that means, whoever is there in East and West Africa, would call upon me for any discussions, I'm also open to discuss from my side. I think many others. So yes, sure. Worldwide preaching, all African preaching. Let us do what we can. And Maharaj, all glory to your service in Africa. I'm taking the dust of your feet. All right, let us offer our obeisances to all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who are just like desired trees who could fulfill the desires of everybody.
Panchakabhachu Vishya Kripasindhu Bevicha Chidana Pavane Vaishnavi Namo
Hare Krishna. I'm going by all the boxes. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Gauranga Nityananda.
Nityananda.